Our modern individual consumes more information in a single day than a medieval scholar could hope to encounter in an entire lifetime. Yet paradoxically, we have never been so ignorant. This is not a contradiction, it is the outcome. The internet has not democratized knowledge, it has industrialized stupidity. It has created a vast factory of connected minds that confuse the volume of data with wisdom, and the speed of response with the depth of thought. What you are about to confront is unsettling. Your own mind has been hijacked by a machine meticulously designed to keep you dumb, anxious, and dependent. And the bitterest irony of all, you are paying for it to happen. There is a critical threshold in human communication where repetition outweighs veracity. The internet discovered this point and transformed it into its primary business model. When 1,000 people repeat a lie, it does not become the truth, but it does become more powerful than the truth. Truth demands reflection, verification, and time. Lies require only an echo. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard once warned that simulations would eventually replace reality. Even he could not have predicted how literally and massively this prophecy would unfold. In the digital age, reality no longer matters. What matters is whether something can be shared. Information has lost its essence as a means of informing. It has mutated into fuel for engagement. Data has become a narcotic. Think about the last time you shared a fact without verifying it. How long was the gap between seeing it and pressing share? A few seconds at most. That fleeting interval is all our civilization now allocates to processing information. We are, in effect, trying to drive at 200 kilometers per hour on a dirt road. An accident is not only inevitable, it is already happening. The transformation is subtle, but devastating. First, we are bombarded with more information than we can possibly process. Second, we are rewarded for reacting quickly rather than thinking deeply. Third, we develop a natural aversion to complexity because it takes too long to consume. The outcome is catastrophic, a society that confuses opinion with knowledge, impression with analysis, and feeling with argument. When everything becomes content, nothing retains meaning. A meme carries the same epistemological weight as decades of scientific research. This is not intellectual evolution, it is cognitive regression disguised as progress. We flatter ourselves by calling it democratization, but it is merely the democratization of ignorance. The internet has not granted us knowledge. It has granted us the illusion of knowledge. And when billions share the same illusion, it becomes indistinguishable from reality. Your brain has been hijacked by a reward system that functions exactly like a casino. Each like is a coin, each share a bet, each notification the spin of a roulette wheel promising the next prize. You are not using the internet, it is using you, and the cost is your ability to think. Neuroscience is clear. Immediate and intermittent rewards form the strongest addictions known to humanity. Social media platforms industrialize this insight. They do not sell connection, they sell dopamine. They do not provide information, they provide validation. What you lose in return is far greater, the tolerance for cognitive frustration required for genuine thought. Real thinking hurts. It demands energy, time, and the ability to remain in uncertainty without seeking immediate relief. Yet your brain has been conditioned to avoid this discomfort and instead chase the instant gratification of the next scroll, the next like, the next ping of approval. The result is cognitive diabetes. Your mind has adapted only to process mental sugar, rejecting the intellectual nutrients that demand digestion. Consider your own habits. How often can you read a long text without checking notifications? How often can you sit in deep reflection without the urge to open a browser tab? How long can you stay alone with your own thoughts without reaching for external stimulation? If you are honest, the answers will disturb you. Human civilizations were built by individuals who thought in decades and centuries. Today, our time horizon is measured in minutes. Worse, we are training our children to see this as normal. A generation is being raised with brains incapable of prolonged concentration, dependent on validation, addicted to novelty. We are not just producing less intelligent individuals, we are engineering a cognitively different species. The paradox is brutal. The more connected we are, the more isolated we become in our confirmation bubbles. The more information we possess, the less we truly know. Instant gratification has eroded our patience for wisdom. Without patience, there can be no deep thought, only reflexive reaction. You are no longer a citizen, you are a product. Your attention is the commodity. Your opinions are data points. Your behavior is the algorithm's training set. And perversely, you are paying for the privilege of being commodified. The transition was silent but devastating. Citizens participate in democracy. They debate, question, and build consensus. Consumers, by contrast, are offered prefabricated options and behavioral scripts. Citizens create culture. Consumers merely consume it. In the digital age, we are all reduced to consumers of narratives generated by algorithms that profit from our passivity. Your political opinions are not yours. They are engineered products tested on millions until optimized for virality. Democracy presupposes independent thinkers, but these capacities are being destroyed systematically by platforms that thrive on polarization and tribalism. Conflict generates clicks, and clicks generate revenue. The logic of virality is devastatingly simple. Complex content requires time, energy, and tolerance for uncertainty. Stupid content offers instant certainty, emotional validation, and the intoxicating sense of superiority. Which do you think wins in a competition for attention? Each share becomes an act of intellectual laziness masquerading as social participation. Worse still, sharing creates the illusion of understanding. The brain mistakes dissemination for digestion, activity for analysis. The cycle deepens. The less we think, the more we rely on cognitive shortcuts. The more we rely on shortcuts, the more we become prisoners of those who control them. This is not mere distraction. It is voluntary cognitive slavery. We now live under a dictatorship of relevance. Truth rarely goes viral because truth is seldom sexy, instantaneous, or emotionally satisfying. Algorithms are not programmed to prioritize wisdom or accuracy. They are optimized to keep you staring at a screen. Reaction is profitable, reflection is not. Ask yourself, how many of the stories dominating your timeline were about breakthroughs in science, education, or solutions to complex social problems? Now compare that to scandals, controversies, and clickbait provocations. The ratio reveals everything. Important information is drowned, not because it does not exist, but because it cannot compete in an environment optimized for emotional shock. A meme confirming your biases will always outperform a study that might save millions of lives in 20 years. Our ancestors, with access to only a handful of books, cultivated a depth of thought we cannot achieve despite billions of documents at our fingertips. They had something we have lost: cognitive silence. The ability to sit with an idea long enough for it to ripen into wisdom. Silence is where thought is born. Solitude is where it matures. Contemplation is where it transforms into wisdom. Today, our minds never rest. Every moment of potential stillness is filled with noise, distraction, or digital companionship. We confuse this agitation with vitality, but it is nothing more than a shallow simulation of intellectual life. The paradox of the internet is not an accident. A system designed to maximize engagement must, by its nature, minimize contemplation. The battle for your mind is not fought out there. It is fought inside your head every time you reach for your phone instead of your own thoughts. The question is not whether the internet is good or bad. The question is whether you will surrender your cognitive autonomy or fight to preserve it. Can you spend even 10 minutes alone with your thoughts, without digital stimulation? If this message resonates, perhaps it is time to step away, to disconnect in order to reconnect, with your own mind, with silence, and with the possibility of wisdom.